Manchester United started their Premier League campaign with the 3 points after a 1-0 win against Fulham at Old Trafford. How did Erik ten Hag mastermind this win? Without any further ado, let's analyze. Alright, let's start with a brief overview of the main tactical battle between Marco Silva and Erik ten Hag. Now first, let's look at it from Marco Silva's perspective. So obviously, he manages Fulham. They are the underdog. Come in to play against Manchester United at Old Trafford. First game of the season. If they leave with 1 point, they are happy. But if they can nick the 3 points in a smash and grab fashion, they're even better. So the way he set up his team is, of course, like this, playing a mid to low block. That way, forcing the Manchester United defensive line high up the pitch. And then, of course, hurting us on the counter. Classic. But what we are interested in is, of course, how did Erik ten Hag respond to this? Because if you are Erik ten Hag, then what do you do in this situation? You have two choices, really, okay? So the first choice is to, of course, just mirror whatever Marco Silva and Fulham are doing. So basically, if they are going with the mid-block, you go with the mid-block as well. But this strategy may work against teams like Manchester City or Arsenal or Spurs or Chelsea or Liverpool because they see themselves as your equal or maybe superior to you. Therefore, if you drop a little deeper, they go a little higher. And of course, this plays into our strengths. Manchester United, we are a very good transition team. But teams like Fulham, Wolves, Newcastle, Everton, West Ham, they're not going to respond that way. They're not going to call your bluff. Okay? So by using this method right here, what you're doing is literally you are accepting that this game is just a stalemate, and Fulham are just going to be happy to just sit deep and just wait for you to make some mistakes so they can capitalize on them or maybe hurt you in set pieces. But the other thing that Erik ten Hag could do, and this is what he did, is can he find a system where you can get the best of both worlds? That means you play a high defensive line, allowing you to play mainly in the opposition's half without really having the opposition hurt you and catch you off guard because of your high defensive line. And that's exactly what Erik ten Hag did. But in order for you to do that, the first step is, of course, to identify the danger man. And here, when we look at the Fulham lineup, we clearly see who the danger man is. It's not Iwobi and Smith Rowe, both of them talented players, agile dribblers, but they can hurt you in and around the box, but they're not gonna hurt you from 50 or 60 yards away from goal. Muniz is mainly a target man, so he can hurt you inside the box, but not this far out. The main danger man is, of course, Adama Traore. And so here now in the video segment, I'm gonna show you how Erik ten Hag was able to nullify the Traore threat. So, the key player for us, Manchester United, when it comes to nullifying Adama Traore's threat is, of course, this man right here, Diogo Dalot. So obviously you see here, Traore is kind of high, relatively high. You see they are like lined up in 2 banks of 4 with Smith Rowe and Muniz as their 2 strikers, very compact, kind of deep, very narrow, not allowing a lot of spaces in the middle. Classic defensive tactics. But then here, what Diogo Dalot's instructions were, like here, for example, as soon as you get the ball, or even without the ball, is to always stay wide and up. Why? Because as you can see in the sequence, it takes Traore away from, our own half. Then what happens is that Traore is quite deep. And so in this kind of situation, as you can see, we do have 3 Manchester United players around him, Diogo Dalot, Kobbie Mainoo, and Mason Mount. So he's surrounded by a lot of players. Okay, he doesn't have a lot of space, but also he's quite deep. He's not going to hurt us from this part of the pitch. So the further away players like Adama Traore are, the more harmless they are, okay? And you have to understand that Traore had to make these runs, like the one I showed you, tracking Dalot, because this area of the pitch was quite busy. There's a lot of talent. Kobbie Mainoo, Mason Mount, and Bruno Fernandes also were dropping into that area, and of course, Marcus Rashford. So in order for Fulham to remain compact, they needed Traore to drop. So that was the trade-off they had to make. He had to drop to help them keep their shape, but that means that they had to forego whatever threat he could provide them going forward in transitions, okay? But of course, this plan worked, but also it didn't work. Like here in the 6th minute where Fulham were actually close to score a goal if it was not for a Mazraoui block. Here we had the first chance to stop Traore with Casemiro, but Casemiro was unable to stop him. But then we have a second chance. As you can see here, Casemiro and Lisandro Martinez ganging up on him. And then with Lisandro Martinez over here. But Traore, again, goes past him. Ah, man. And in fact, here, Lisandro Martinez actually commented on this right after the game. He said that Traore destroyed him in the beginning of the game. This was in the 6th minute. But then, as the game progressed, Lisandro Martinez sent Traore to the gym. What a legend. You gotta love Lisandro Martinez. But yeah, it's true. I mean, we started off a little bit shaky, and he was able to get away in this sequence. But as the game progressed, we were much more assured in possession, and we did not really allow him to exploit a lot of spaces. But still, this was dangerous. This space here in and around Maguire, he will be making a very good run. But actually, Muniz and Smith Rowe right here, they could have scored. But Mazraoui, this man right here was impressive. By the way, I'm not going to talk about Mazraoui again in this video. I'm making a video dedicated to Mazraoui's performance against Fulham. I've already shot it. I just need to edit it and post it on YouTube. So I'm going to post it a few hours after posting this one. So please make sure you subscribe and activate the notification bell so that you don't miss it. What an interception and a block by Mazraoui. Okay, so that was the danger that Fulham has. That was their tactical plan. That was their game plan. And Erik ten Hag was able to nullify it by nullifying the threat that Traore provided in behind our defensive line. But of course, stopping your opponent is one thing, but also you need to score. So the question is, how do you score against a low block, well-organized defensive team like Fulham? You have two ways, okay? The first one is you wait for their concentration levels to drop. Eventually, they're going to make mistakes, and then you capitalize on that. Or you rely on your creative and flair players. And Manchester United created chances through both of these channels. For example, here, in a build-up phase for Fulham, of course, we put them under pressure. And then here, Casemiro and Lukic is able to win the ball after a mistake from Leno. Lays it off beautifully to for Bruno Fernandes, who missed this. I mean, I could see it going right under Leno in between his legs. What a wasted opportunity. And that was not it, because right after that, I mean, 15, 20 minutes after that, we found ourselves in this situation. Kobe Mainoo gets the ball in the half turn and then passes it towards Casemiro. And Bruno Fernandes getting ready over there, making a world-class run. Bruno Fernandes is so good at these runs, but also Casemiro was impressive this game. So good. He just passes. He just makes the right pass at the right weight at the right time. Look at that. So inviting. And Bruno Fernandes should have scored it. And here at this point, because football, you have to remember, is a game of moments, okay? At this point, I was thinking, okay, if you don't take these moments, the game is going to pass you by, okay? And with the way both teams were set up, if we scored one of these opportunities, Fulham would have no choice but to attack us. And if they did, they would leave spaces in behind, therefore literally playing to our strengths. We could have ended the game winning 3 or 4-0. Had we scored at least one of those chances. But of course we didn't. So I started getting a little nervous and rattled because I was like, okay, this was an easy 3-point that we are just missing out on here. But then, of course, Zirkzee came with the goal. Now, a lot of people see it as a normal, you know, ball into the box, simple tapping kind of goal. But there are so many interesting things that happened. Okay, let's see what happens. So first, I want to draw your attention to Scott McTominay over here, a player who, of course, started in the number 6 position, but who, for some reason, is going to end up as the most advanced Manchester United player as we hit the net. His knack for just putting himself in goal-scoring positions is extraordinary. But Scott McTominay is definitely one of the best when it comes to making these late runs into the box. So, Onana over here, assessing his options. Lisandro Martinez, who wasn't really at his best this game. I mean, a lot of our players are not at their best, you know, including Bruno Fernandes. Bruno Fernandes literally didn't have a preseason. His first game was the Community Shield. So a lot of them are rusty. You saw that with Garnacho, with the miss that he had at the end of the game. And here, look, Lisandro Martinez, just poor control, but he makes up for it with this chipped ball towards Bruno Fernandes. And here, Bruno Fernandes again shows his class. He's able to dribble a player without even touching the ball. Just using his body, his balance, just lets the ball go through him. Beautiful. World-class move. Now, I want to draw your attention towards Zirkzee over here and Rashford, because Rashford is also key to how we scored this goal. So here, Zirkzee, of course, I talked about him back in January when I recommended him as a potential Manchester United signing. And in that player analysis video, I showed you how he loves to drop into these positions right here. He's more of a 9.5. Not really a number 9, not really a number 10. It's one of his signature moves, and he's so good at doing that. And that's what makes him such a headache to defend against. But here, Rashford is going to allow him even more space and time. Rashford, by making this dummy run over here, what he's doing is that he's dragging the whole defensive line and providing Zirkzee with this space. Because if one defender follows Rashford, everybody else has to follow him, at least his defensive partner. In this case, Bassi. Because otherwise, they're going to be easily caught up by Manchester United if they're out of position. They're not going to be able to catch the Manchester United players in an offside position. So here, Bruno Fernandes towards Zirkzee, and of course Scott McTominay coming in from deep is getting ready to make the run into the box. Now Zirkzee has a lot of time. He can assess his options. He goes towards Casemiro. Now as you can see, the defensive line is still dropping deep, but they're going to drop even deeper with Scott McTominay. So Scott McTominay, because he's a little more advanced than Zirkzee, he's forcing the Fulham defenders to remain a little bit deeper, just providing Zirkzee with that extra 1 to 2 yards that allows Garnacho to find him. And then of course the finish is beautiful. Now the reason why this goal works is because players like Zirkzee are an absolute nightmare. Because when you are a defender, your sense of security comes from having that physical touch with the striker. Because that means you know where they are. If you know where they are, it's easy for you to nullify the threat that they pose. But defending against strikers who like to move into the channels or drop deep is the worst thing. Because yes, your workload decreases as a center back because you don't have to man mark a player. But you're not secure because you know that there is an extra man somewhere, and eventually that player is going to start making runs towards you, either with the ball or without the ball. And in those situations, the striker always has the advantage. They are the proactive ones. They make the decisions and the defenders only react. And in this situation, reacting is much tougher than acting. Beautiful team goal from Erik ten Hag's Manchester United. Well-deserved 3 points. What a way to start the season. Alright, those of you who have been following the Scarlet Report for at least a year now may remember the video I made right after we lost 4-3 against Bayern. In fact, I used Stanley Kubrick's classic A Clockwork Orange to articulate my point. And basically what I said is still relevant now, is that I feel that the demons from the past could re-emerge at any time. You feel that the players are a little rusty because of preseason, but also you feel that sometimes their confidence is a little shaky. This is why, I said it back then and I say it now, it's very important that we go on a run of 1-0 wins where we only focus on the 3 points. Okay? If we go on a run of 5 or 6 games where we get 15 or 18 points out of 15 or 18, winning 1-0, that would be a great run for Manchester United. And before you say, oh, come on, Mr. Scarlet Report, this is Manchester United. We deserve better. What are you talking about? I watched Manchester United under Sir Alex Ferguson, and I know many of you did as well. Well, here's the thing. Sir Alex Ferguson, the mighty Sir Alex Ferguson, whenever his team had like 2 or 3 adverse results, he just locked things down and went back to basics and just locked everything down and just focused on winning 1-0, 1-0, 2-1, 1-0, just amassing those 3 points. And this was during Manchester United's heyday. We're talking 2008, 2009, when we were the best team in the world right before the emergence of Pep Guardiola's Barcelona. And this is important for 3 main reasons. First of all, amassing those points allow you to raise up in the ranking, or if you are already in the lead, to extend the lead that you have over your rivals, giving you more room to breathe. But also it raises the morale of your players, and it was not as important in Sir Alex Ferguson's days because his position was guaranteed and secure. But it is very important for Erik ten Hag, is that it shuts down the noise in the media, because everybody, and you know it, those hyenas, they're just waiting for a stinky piece of meat. And that stinky piece of meat is a couple of adverse results for Erik ten Hag, so that the media starts spewing their venom, talking about how he needs to be sacked and who's gonna replace him. So it is very important right now that we focus on the 3 points. Don't focus on the performances. Focus on the 3 points. I think our performance was good. We had great chances. Like I said, we could have won by 3 or 4-0 had we been a little more clinical. I think the performances are there. They're not amazing, but they're there. But what matters right now is winning and getting those 3 points. Okay, guys, do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? Have I forgotten to mention something besides Mazraoui? Please let me know in the comment section below. If you've enjoyed this video, the best way you can do to support this channel is, of course, to hit that like button. It only takes 0.5 seconds, guys. Until next time, cheers.